Hi again, it's Regina back in the kitchen with another recipe. Today is all about snacking. I love snacking, yes I do, and in the past that was one of the reasons why I would sometimes fall off my healthy eating program, is because I wanted something salty or something sweet or something crunchy to satisfy and scratch that itch. Well, since now I'm pretty much an alkaline-based eater, I wanted to find alkaline foods that I could make in my dehydrator or in the oven that was quick, that was easy, and that was good. So I'm going to prepare today an apple pie chip. Apple pie chips, because you definitely need more than one, and you're going to want more than one. Anyway, so I am preparing a recipe today that's quick, that's easy, that's simple, that requires only a few ingredients. I'm using Granny Smith apples, cinnamon, ground cinnamon, date sugar, and coconut oil. Now, depending on the method you use for creating this recipe, that will determine the length of time that you'll need. Today, I'm making it in the dehydrator because I want all the natural enzymes in the food to remain in the food. I'm gonna prepare this recipe and set the dehydrator at 118 degrees. And that's why I love dehydrators, because you have a chance to cook the ingredients without really adding a lot of heat elements to it. And what it does is slowly draws out the water. It dehydrates it. That's why it's called a dehydrator. And it reserves the natural enzymes. And enzymes in food is what we want. It's what we need to help us digest food properly, assimilate, and eliminate the food. So that's why I use the dehydrator, because it's the easiest way to retain all the natural elements and all the natural enzymes in the food and not destroying it with any heat elements. Alternatively, if you want to use another cooking method, you can also use the oven, but you have to use the lowest setting, which is normally around maybe 175 or 200 degrees, whatever the lowest setting. And if you have a digital one, it's usually easier to navigate because you can see exactly what temperature it is. Now, keep in mind, if you use the oven method, you will most likely destroy some of the enzymes and the natural properties that are in the apple. But you can still prepare this food and it'll still taste great, but there's a method you need to use in the oven. What you'll need to use is a baking sheet, and on top of that, you will need to use a cookie tray. Now, the cookie cooling tray should fit right into your sheet pan, and it should sit up about maybe a ½ inch to an inch over the pan, because what you don't want is the apples to sit in its own juices and cook in its own juices. Otherwise, you're gonna have a soggy apple chip, and it really won't be a chip because it'll just be a slice of apple. But you want a crisp chip, so you want air to get around it, and that's why you're gonna cook it on top of the mesh tray, which should sit in your liner pan, and that's going to catch the juices. Today I'm going to use my tray that comes from my dehydrator. I'll be using the dehydrator method today, and I'll be using this mesh sheet, which will allow air to aerate. And as I'm dusting it with some of the toppings, I'm just going to put this seal pack sheet under it to catch any of the cinnamon or the sugar that comes through the mesh screen.
Okay, let's get started. For this recipe, we'll be using the number 1 setting, which is the thin slice setting. I'll be using Granny Smith apples. Although I only have 1, you can actually use up to 2 apples for this recipe. Now we'll combine 1 tablespoon of date sugar and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Sprinkle mixture over apples completely, and next we'll add the coconut oil. Using a rubber spatula or your bare hands, make sure you separate the apples and coat on both sides. At this point, you'll take each apple slice and place them on the tray, spacing them evenly. And now we'll prepare the dehydrator, setting the temperature between 115 and 118 degrees for approximately 8 to 10 hours. Now place the tray in the dehydrator and secure the door.
So the apples are now in the dehydrator, and with the dehydrator, it's going to take about 8 to 10 hours. So the best thing to do is put it in at night and just let it go, or in the evening when you get off work, or when you have some downtime, and just let it go all night. And then in the morning they'll be ready. Now the oven method will take approximately 1.5 to 2 hours at 200 degrees, checking them every hour just to make sure that they're crisp and not over crisp or burnt, and it shouldn't within a 2-hour time frame. So so the best thing you can do when it comes to snacking is have some available. So you want to keep your snacks in heavy rotation, always putting in zucchini or banana chips or apple chips, putting them in at night, just making sure you always have them. Always make them so you'll always have them. You don't have to worry about going to the store and picking up some chips that really are not good for your gut lining. So I have some here. Take a look at that. They are nice and crisp and so good. And the reason that it tastes like an apple pie is because you're getting the fat from the coconut oil, which almost mimics butter. And you're getting sweetness from the date sugar, and you're getting the flavor of apple pie through the cinnamon. So easy, so simple. And you can do this very quickly if you're making it in the oven. It's going to take a little time in the dehydrator, but again, if you do this often, you can always keep apples in the dehydrator, so you always have something to snack on. Okay? Well, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon.